Reports coming out of no new deal for Kobbie Mainoo at Manchester United, saying he wants to look abroad, he wants to move abroad, and Man United may be forced into selling Kobbie Mainoo. But is this agent talk? Is this more media nonsense? Because I spoke about the media nonsense earlier in regards to Mainoo, or does he actually want out of Manchester United? And could he be a departure this summer, which might surprise a few people? And why may he want out? The injury latest on Ahmad Shaw, Licho Mainoo, Mountain Nagate. Ruben Amorim has spoken about these injuries and the current situation. Manchester United willing to let Hojlund go out on loan. Mateta interest confirmed from a more reliable Simon Stone. Could Mateta be one of the striker options? We know that we've also been linked to Delap, Gyökeres and Osimhen. Desire Doue being scouted, but is there any chance of a deal for Desire Doue happening? I dream, but probably not. And Chido, will he start versus Arsenal? Amorim was asked this question and made some interesting comments. Arteta also spoke out about Chido. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news and transfer news roundup. So, starting with topic number 1, Kobbie Mainoo. What has come out here? Mainoo wants out, or agents spin to get him best deal. That's the big question, because when a player is searching a new contract, there's always going to be news that they might want out and they want to look abroad to help them try and get the best deal they can possibly get. Now, this has come from The Guardian and a much better source of information than the previous reports about Kobbie Mainoo, who kept speaking about him wanting higher wages than Cole Palmer, which I think was just made up for interactions. So what has The Guardian said? Kobbie Mainoo is planning on rejecting Manchester United's new contract offer and seek a move abroad. I can't read at the moment. Kobbie Mainoo is planning on rejecting Manchester United's new contract offer and seek a move abroad. United could be open to selling him, with his valuation at around 70 million, has been said. Now, we know that Garnacho is probably more likely to be sold than Mainoo, but if United can't tie Mainoo down to a new deal, of course they'll look at selling him, because they won't want to lose him on a free. They won't want to do a Paul Pogba. And a move to another Premier League club is not in his plans, despite interest from Chelsea, was confirmed by Guardian Sport. So, why may Mainoo be open to leaving United? Here was my thoughts on the situation. A very talented player, but he suits a midfield 3 better than a midfield 2. We've seen last season in those games versus Liverpool, in those games where Kobbie was amazing, how good he is, but this system doesn't maybe get the best out of him, and we know there's a great player there. And that's annoying, because any manager we bring in should be building around Kobbie Mainoo and should have a system that gets the best out of Kobbie Mainoo, because I think he can be a generational talent. But that is something that could be considered from Mainoo, his team, and even Manchester United when it comes to selling him. Now, he's already becoming a media target, receiving criticism, and you can't blame him if he wants out. He's the new target now. Marcus Rashford's left. People are giving him a stick left, right, and centre, even though he's a 19-year-old kid. I remember for England, people were trying to write him down because they were jealous that he got called up for England and not your beloved Harvey Elliott, or he was picked over Adam Wharton, and people didn't like that, and it was a jealousy thing. And I think the thing is, Man United have been poor for a while, and academy players have suffered in the past because of how poor we've been for a while. So, in that sense, his departure cannot be ruled out, in the sense of he might think what's best for his career, like Marcus Rashford has done, because every Man United academy player wants to play for the club and hopes the club gets back on track, but it seems to get worse and worse and worse, and there's a new rock bottom every year, where the academy players might be thinking, well, for my career, I need to get away from this, because I'll just be known as a crap player and people won't respect me for the player I am if I'm at United, which is a worrying truth that people won't like me for saying. The weird thing was, though, last year, Jim Ratcliffe was like, Mainoo will be the face of the project, Ineos are going to build around Mainoo. And then this year, there was talk of them being open to selling Mainoo because of PSR and it bringing in money, and how, back a year ago, Man United was saying that Garnacho, Mainoo and Hojlund were untouchable, and now all 3 of them, they're open to offers for. It's strange. Anyway, let's get into topic number 2. Injury news. So what has been said in regards to the injuries on the following players? Amorim on returning players before the end of the season. Lisandro Martinez, no. Licha is probably not going to be back until December, honestly. Mainoo can come back. For the rest, I think we have to be careful. Manuel Ugarte will come back, of course. Luke Shaw and Mason Mount can also come back. We'll see, but they'll definitely come back, especially Mason Mount. So Guy will come back. but he wants to be careful just to make sure he's not going to be out longer. Luke Shaw and Mason Mount can come back, but they want to be really careful because they might come back for a game and get injured again. They want to be particularly careful with Mason Mount. And I think the reason he wants to be particularly careful with Mason Mount is he knows he can't sell Mason Mount in the summer because we'd need 35 million not to make a loss on Mason Mount. So he knows he can't sell Mason Mount in the summer. Mason Mount is also a player that suits Ruben Amorim's system. The problem with Mason Mount is he's never available. If Mason Mount can stay fit, Ruben Amorim will use him next season. So I think that's one of the reasons he wants to be really careful with someone like Mason Mount. Because I think that Ruben Amorim will see Mason Mount as a somewhat important player. He was then asked about Ahmad, and he said on Ahmad, we'll see at the end of last month of the season. I hope to have Ahmad before the end of the season. We'll see. So, moving into the transfer news, it has been said there is a serious possibility that Rasmus Hojlund will go out on loan this summer. As said by the Muppeteers. Now, again, Manchester United would have to make £40 million if they want to sell Hojlund. And apparently there is some interest in Hojlund at around £40 million. There would be some teams ready to buy Hojlund because he's a highly rated player and he's still very young. And I think, if he goes to a team of more service and he gets his confidence up, we've seen that Hojlund can be a deadly player in the Champions League. We've seen it in some of the Premier League games. If we were rating Hojlund as a signing last season, we'd have given it a 7. We'd say, shown a lot of promising signs. If we're rating him as a signing this season, we're giving it a 1 or 2. There is 100% interest in Hojlund out there, but I don't think United wants to do a permanent deal because I think United realise that this is a guy that needs a year away from United to get his confidence up, to develop a bit better. But there's a player that could be a top striker in Hojlund, believe it or not. He just doesn't look anywhere near it at the moment. So I see United potentially open to loaning out Rasmus Hojlund, especially because it'd be difficult to sell him. In terms of Rasmus Hojlund replacements, it was said Jean-Philippe Mateta is on United's radar and could emerge as a summer transfer target. Now, the Sun actually linked us to Mateta this morning, and I said it's an interesting one, but it's the Sun. I always take the Sun with a huge pinch of salt. But this has come from Simon Stone. That's quite a credible source of information confirming that interest in Mateta. So I think for Hojlund to go out on loan, there'd need to be 2 striker signings. Could United look to bring in Mateta and someone else in the summer? Mateta isn't on my top 5 players to bring in, but he does have a bit of Premier League experience. But I do think Mateta is a purple patch player. That's the only thing. Like, he can be slow for a bit and then he can be really good. It depends on the consistency, because consistency is something we've had an issue with at Manchester United, if that makes sense. In terms of other transfer news, it was said the United scouts were in attendance at the Parc des Princes as they keep a close eye on the sensation Doué. Is Desire Doue going to come to Manchester United? No. Do we have any chance of signing him? No. Do I want it to happen? Yes. Do I want to believe this? Yes. Is this credible? No. That's my general thoughts on it. I love Doué. I think he's a fantastic player, fantastic talent. I wanted him to sign him back in the summer. We didn't. Really exciting player. I think he could suit the 10 Ruben Amorim system incredibly well. But he's at PSG. We are Manchester United. If we couldn't get Nuno Mendes from PSG and he's played under Amorim and, Amorim wing back suit him better, there's no chance of getting Desire Doue. I'd love it to happen. Desire Doue and Nuno Mendes, I'd absolutely love it to happen, but no chance of that. So, diving into topic 5, Chido and youth talk ahead of the Arsenal match. So, Amorim was actually asked if Chido could start on Sunday. He didn't play in the Europa League. He's looked quite well. He showed Hojlund up a bit when he came on versus Fulham. And Amorim said everyone could be a starter. So Amorim's obviously not going to say if he's starting or not, because that could potentially give Arsenal an advantage. But he's saying everyone can be a starter. And he's not said no. He's not said, oh, no, he's not ready to start yet. Hojlund will start, happy with Hojlund. So for me, this is an indication, in my opinion, that there is definitely potential for Chido to start versus Arsenal. And I have to say, if he scored a goal versus Arsenal, that would be the best feeling in the world. The amount of stick Arsenal fans give him, for him to score the winning goal or just any goal versus Arsenal, if we can beat Arsenal and Chido scores, if we beat Arsenal 2-1 and Chido and Heaven score, that is the highlight of the season. Even if we won the Europa League, I feel like that would be up there just for the pure, it's bragging rights Arsenal. It's the social media derby. So I want Chido to play because I think he deserves to play, actually. I think he did well in the Fulham game. But I also really want him to score his first goal versus Arsenal because I think that would be amazing. And I have a feeling he'd celebrate. He'd do an Adebayor. He'd celebrate. Arteta was actually asked about these 2 players and said this: I wasn't too involved in the decision. When a player decides that's the best thing to do is leave, there's not much you can do. It's very unfortunate because we want to keep our academy players and make them successful in the first team. But in the case of Chido and Heaven, we weren't able to do that. Arsenal fans are trying to make out that Chido and Heaven are HLM rejects. Arsenal were desperate to keep them. They were attracted to Manchester United because even though Arsenal are in a better position than us right now, when Ranieri and Lewis Skelly are coming through, the 5 years prior, Arsenal haven't brought anyone through. We've brought through a lot of players and had just a general better path to our first team. But look, Arsenal's academy is on the way up. Our academy's great, but you know, are we going to lose JJ Gabriel? Are we going to sell Mainoo and Garnacho? Is that a good look for the academy? Who knows? But I'm excited that we got Chido, and I'm excited that we got Aiden Heaven. So I think that is all the news. Let me check. Yeah, that is all the news. So thank you everyone for watching today's 10-minute roundup. Please do hit the like button if you enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe down below if you're new. Every day there will be a 10-minute roundup video on the channel, and there will also be a 30 to 40-minute live stream where we're more interactive with you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.